that is something that BJP is seeking to project. It is the RSS divisive ideology that any number of individuals in BJP and RSS may project. And Mr. Modi only happens to be one of them.
But we didn't hear this talk of communalism at this high pitch in the last general election, for instance. Yes. And it's obviously there, Mr. Bhushan, because Mr. Modi is
Mr. Modi. He's a polarizing force in this country. He is dividing this country. He's very clever. He uses his use of language is very clever. He doesn't refer to the elected government of Delhi as the UPA government. He calls it Delhi ki Sultanat. You know, as if some invaders had come and formed a government here. But leave that aside. What we are actually witnessing is that Indian politics, which had got frittered away, which had Fiziparis tendencies, and which led to the formation of these regional parties. Today, the regional parties are coming together. They are attempting to come together. That platform may begin as an anti-communalism platform, but after elections, it may take another shape. So it is not really anti-Modi per se. It looks like anti-Modi. I agree with Mr. Surjewala that this actually is an election where the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh is fighting the rest of the country, which does not believe in its values.
Siddharthnath Singh, is this an election of the RSS versus the rest, Modi versus the rest, but more about the RSS ideology versus the rest?
Nidhi, it's a blessing in disguise that my opponents are unable to see the political party with whom they are supposed to fight. They are still imagining RSS. I have no problem, and then I know where these parties are definitely going to land in the number of seats and who's going to be the winner. But having said that, let me also say, Nidhi, that Samajwadi Party, when they talk about communal forces and Congress supports them, we are together, I really want to understand from these great gentlemen who are so secular by nature, by birth, by blood, everything. When I say, and Mr. Narendra Modi says in public and everything, that for us, the political parties, the God is the constitution, and we want to work for 120 crores, then that is not secularism. But when they say there has to be a reservation, 20% in Samajwadi Party regime of the fund should go to only to the minorities, and similar is an attitude of the Congress to release certain people who have been accused for terrorism because they belong to another religion, and that is also followed by a Samajwadi Party, and then their thought process and ideology is secular. Perhaps in their mind it could be secular, but certainly as an Indian and a lot of people listening to us, that is not secularism. Secularism means there is no appeasement, and that is exactly what the ideology of BJP is, and Narendra Modi has been saying. So I don't know where this debate of secularism versus communalism is going to go.
But the fact is, Siddharthnath Singh, when 14 or 15 political parties come together like this, and major regional groupings come together like this and speak the way that they do on the issue of communalism and Narendra Modi today, as Bharat Bhushan says, the BJP should be worried today, because everything is going to depend on the numbers, of course, after the elections.
I'm not worried. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm not worried. These 13, 14 parties minus few, I'm still saying there will be few who will be just walking away because it's a convention. But let me tell you, all these parties are stitched together not because of their genuineness of secularism and they want to fight communalism, they want to fight terrorism, because for them it is important to chase. Unfortunately, again, Nidhi, I'm saying, unfortunate that they are running again for a 15% of the vote bank in India, and they think that 85% of the vote bank doesn't mean anything. And therefore, what we say, look at 100% vote bank, address 120 crores, and that can be only done through a development procedure or good governance.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that is your problem. And you have very rightly coined a word today, secular fundamentalist. We are proud to be secular fundamentalists, and definitely we are against the communal fundamentalist, and that is what actually the whole message of today's convention is. Whatever will be the results after the election, that will be decided later on, but one common thread among all of us is that we are deadly against the communal fundamentalism.
But I want to go back to what Devesh Thakur said, that Mr. Thakur, the concerns that you raised about sustaining such a front. Right now you've come together on this anti-communalism platform, which, as Mr. Bhushan says, may develop into something else post the elections and once the numbers are clearer. But as you said right at the beginning, sustaining that with such diverse leaders, all of them, many of them who do have prime ministerial ambitions, that's the tough part.
Well, I agree with Mr. Bhushan, and I told you very earlier, because what these post-poll alliances are more a possibility. Right now, it is only the political parties sending across messages to their own voters, messages to the voters of India, that which side they would be. I think it is more a hint as to what is going to happen post-poll, post-poll situation. Maybe post-poll arithmetics may compel people to come together again, and that may dictate the future events after the elections. But definitely, as of today, at least most of the leaders of the various parties have sent out a message as to which side they would like to be in a situation where after the poll alliances, a situation arises where they have to join hands with one or the other.
Well,
I think there I would agree with Mr. Bhushan totally.
Well, the BJP says it's not going to survive, that these are cynical alliances, and it's not going to hold together, that there will be parties who will, as Siddharth Singh says, who will leave. If they see the opportunity, they will come to the NDA fold if they feel that that's where the numbers stack up.
Well, I think our panelist from the BJP is definitely experienced on this matter. They had 22 parties when they were in the government. Now they are not left with more than 2 alliances. So maybe he is afraid of that. Maybe he thinks like that. But let's see what happens post-poll alliances. Let's see.
Siddharth Singh, yes, you wanted to make an interjection there.
Nidhi, I'm not a psephologist, but let me give you a fact. In 2009 elections, there were certain places BJP and Congress were fighting directly. There were certain places where left had also created, along with Chandrababu Naidu, Anna DMK, and certain parties from Orissa and Assam and all that, they had created a similar kind of an alliance, one may say. And look at the voters are not fools in this country. They wanted to give Manmohan Singh a chance. So obviously they gained more seats than what we did, but at the same time the major chunk came to them where these alliances were fighting as a third front, imaginary third front against the Congress, and there are 166 seats. Then that is where you look at Andhra and other places, they have done extremely well. So do not underestimate or undermine the voters. They are not going to allow this kind of a gobble up of a third front or a imaginary front and allow their votes to go waste. They want stability in this country. They thought they had given a stability to the Congress, but they fluttered away with it. But this time also, with the economic conditions and what is happening in India, they are not going to vote for any kind of an alliances where there could be 10 prime ministers. They're going to vote decisively, and that decisiveness will come in the name of Narendra Modi.
And you believe that means 250 seats for the BJP? At least.
Well, let's see. I'm optimistic. Let us wait till what happens in 2014.
Okay, last quick comments first to Randeep Surjewala and then Mr. Bhushan, you can close. Yes.
Maybe actually I agree with Mr. Siddharth Singh. Don't underestimate the voter or don't underestimate the common Indian. He would not let the idea of India, the ethos of India to be polarized by the RSS ideology, and what has happened today is only a reflection of that idea. As elections progress and as results come in, there will be a regrouping, and a regrouping where Congress has earlier also carried the secular parties along with it. We proved it in the past. Bharatiya Janata Party has lost most of its allies. That was already pointed out. And you are seeing here a debate on the ideology of this country, and an ideology that was founded upon in 1947. And that is being taken forward today, and what happened today is only a reflection of that.
Mr. Bhushan,
I just want to make 3 quick points. You had said what will hold a post-poll alliance together. I think the prospect of power will hold them together. If they find the BJP and Congress can't make the government and they can form a government, that is what will hold them together. You said who will be the Prime Minister? My suspicion is the Prime Minister would come from one of the southern parties, or it would be a dark horse, because the North Indian leaders of parties in this coalition have overlapping constituencies or competing vote banks. And you said about stability.
So you're saying Jayalalitha might be the Prime Minister?
It could be Naveen Patnaik also. But will it last? It will last. It will last for 5 years, because BJP and Congress will never come together to bring down this government and have another fractured verdict. So for that coalition will last full 5 years.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that, because we've seen there are experiments with the third
that
front.
won't be a coalition led by Congress, like in the past.
Well, our past experience has been very bitter with that, so I'll hold you to that.
But Nidhi, you must hold on and take this clipping, because we are going to debate with Bhushan after the election.
I'll call you as well. All of you must come back if indeed that does happen. All right, gentlemen, I have to leave it at that. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on the program this evening. We'll take a break. When we come back, former External Affairs Minister Jaswant Singh joins us here in the studio on his new book, India at Risk, as he talks about the security challenges that India has faced and what lies ahead. That's after the break.